Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Gurur Brahma, Gurur Vishnu, Gurur Devo Maheshwara, Guru Sakshat Param Brahma Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Gurave Sarvalokanam Bhijaye Bhavaroginam Nidhaye Sarva Vidyanam Sri Dakshinamurtaye Namaha. Vakratunda Mahakaya Surya Koti Samaprabha Nirvighram Kuru Me Deva Sarvakaryeshu Sarvada Gajananam Bhuta Gadadi Sevitam Kapittajam Bhupalasara Bhakshitam Umasudam Shoka Vinasha Karanam Namami Vigneshwara Pada Pankajam Shuklam Bharadaram Vishnam Shashivarnam Chaturbhujam Prasannavadanam Dhyaye Sarvavighnopashantaye Vyasam Vasishtanaptaram Shakte Pautramakalmasham Parasharatmajam Vande Shugadhatam Taponidhim Vyasaya Vishnurupaya Vyasarupaya Vishnave Namo Vai Brahmanidhaye Vasishthaye Namo Namaha. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Jaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Chaiva Tado Jayamudhirayet. Namaste everyone. Last week we were looking at Yayati's fall from heaven, right? Anyone remember what we discussed last week? Yes. What did we learn? Can you tell me all the good things Yayati said or learned or something? Can somebody tell me?
So when Yayati was falling from heaven, he met 4 people and he said he was their maternal grandfather. And he told them about what they should do in life and the good conduct and stuff like that.
Sir, you're on mute.
So he met 4 of them, Ashtaka, Pratardana, Vasumat, Shibi, right? And all 4 of them tried to give him their merits, and Yayati rejected it. And he explained, why did he fall from heaven?
Because he was too proud and he said he was the greatest.
Very good. Very good, Tulsi. So he was very arrogant about his learning and his conduct, whatever he did, he was very proud, right? He said that when Indra asked, does he see anyone who has more merits than him? He said he doesn't see anyone apart from himself. So that's why he had to fall, because all merits end when somebody is arrogant, right? So that's what happened to him. And then he says that heaven is not permanent. The only thing that's permanent is knowledge, and through knowledge we reach Paramatma. That's the permanent place. That's why he says Ashtaka, that everyone should try to gain that knowledge. And once, whatever the Vedas say, one should try to understand that, and that knowledge alone can take us to Paramatma. So when Ashtaka tries to give his merit, he says that he does not accept gift from Brahmanas, right? Because he's a Kshatriya. Kshatriyas never accept, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudras should never accept gift from Brahmanas, because they should be giving gift to Brahmanas. Similarly, Pratardana, when he gives, he says he does not accept gift from others who is below his capacity or strength, right? Similarly, Vasumat, he tries to avoid doing a trade with him for something that's not fair enough. Similarly for Shibi, right? And finally, because he was of good conduct and he wasn't proud of what he did, he repented whatever he did. Because of that, he also returns to heaven with four of his grandchildren, right? So that's what we learned. That's an important story in Mahabharata in general in life, because there is always a question on whether we do karma, which is our actions, or whether we go for the knowledge, right? Jnana. So what Yati's story again tells us is jnana is the ultimate, but again to achieve that jnana, knowledge of Veda, one has to do one's conduct. One has to have good conduct, good behavior, and do the karma, our actions properly. Have devotion, bhakti. All this required, then only one can gain that knowledge. Okay, so all are paths to attaining that Paramatma knowledge. That's important. So with that, we move to the next story. Okay, Vaishampayana narrated this, and then he continues explaining about the next story in Mahabharata, next people. Okay, so he starts explaining about birth of Shantanu and Ganga on earth. Okay, so he starts by saying that there was a king by name Mahabhisha. Okay, that king from Ikshvaku dynasty. Ikshvaku is solar dynasty. From Ikshvaku dynasty only Sri Rama, Dasharatha, Sri Rama, all of them were born. Okay, so in that dynasty there was a king called Mahabhisha. He was lord of the earth. Okay, he was the king of the entire earth. He was such a powerful king, but he was also truthful in his speech and conduct. Okay, and he did 1,000 horse sacrifices and 100 Rajasuya yagnas. Okay, sacrifices. He did, even doing many kings, great kings, struggle to do one Rajasuya or one horse sacrifice. Okay, but this Mahabhisha, he did so many sacrifices, and ultimately at the end of his life he attained heaven. Okay, because he did so many sacrifices, he was like Yayati. He had powers to go to any loka, any world in heaven, whether it is Indra's loka or Brahma loka or Vishnu's place or wherever he wished, he could go. He had that much merit. One day when he was at Brahma's assembly, okay, when Lord Brahma's assembly, he was there, all the sages and all the other people who attained Brahmaloka, they were all sitting there along with Indra and all the deities and everyone sitting there. And at that time, Ganga comes to Brahma's assembly. Okay. And when Brahma comes, when she was bowing her head and worshipping Brahma, her dress falls off. Okay. So when her dress falls off, all the men sitting there, they start staring at down. Okay, they start staring down, because what our Shastra says is one should never look another person naked or without clothes. Okay, so all the men start staring downwards. But Mahabhisha, he was attracted by Ganga. He starts staring at her. And Brahma gets very angry. Brahma says, because of your conduct is so poor, okay, you will be born on earth. Okay, he curses him that he will be born on earth, but then he says that he will be of a good conduct on earth, and after that, his life on earth, he will return again to heaven, his old place. Okay, and then he also says that Ganga was also, because she was not careful with her dress and everything, he tells Ganga also, you will also be born on earth. Okay, so both of them get the curse, and Mahabhisha thinks, what should I do? Okay, I have to get birth on earth, and where do I get birth? And while he was thinking about that, he thinks about a king in Kuru dynasty called Pratipa. Okay, he thinks about a king called Pratipa, and so he decides to get birth in that king Pratipa's as a son. Sorry, as a son to Pratipa. Okay, so he decides that. And similarly, Ganga, she was ready to take birth as well on earth, and she decides to take birth and become wife of Mahabhisha. Okay, becomes wife of Mahabhisha. And while she was thinking that, she comes across Ashta Vasus, 8 Vasu. Okay, Vasus are again among the 33 devas we worship. Vasus are 8 of them, make up that 33. Okay, so those Vasus were also cursed by Vasishtha to get birth on earth. Okay, and they also meet Ganga, and they say that we are also cursed to take birth on earth. We were thinking where to take birth. Because you are taking birth in earth, can we become your sons? Okay, they ask that to Ganga, and Ganga says okay, and they agree, and then Vasus will become sons of Ganga on earth. So that's the deal. Everyone agrees to that. So Mahabhisha plans to become the son of Pratipa, and Ganga becomes Pratipa's son's wife, and in Ganga, Vasus, 8 Vasus decide to take birth. Okay, so and also those Vasus say that, so because 7 of us do not have to live long on earth, can you please drop us in river Ganga as soon as we are born on earth? Okay, so that we can be relieved of our curse. So Ganga agrees to that, and Vasu say that whoever is the 8th one that survives, because Ganga says, I don't want to be childless in my birth on earth, can one of you survive? And Vasu says one of them will survive. And then all the 7 other Vasus give 1/8 of their strength, energy, to the surviving one child. Okay, so the one who is surviving will have the life, duration, as well as the energy, everything, knowledge, everything of the other 7 Vasus, 1/8 of others is 7 Vasus. Okay, so that's the agreement they make, and with that they head towards earth. Okay, so now we come to the King Pratipa story. Okay, so King Pratipa, let me just show you where he is in our chart. Where are we? So Pratipa is here. Can you see? So Pratipa is here. Okay, so he was Pratishravas, Bhimasena, Parikshit, Ashwavan, so Vidhartha, Kuru. So Kuru is here. So from there, everybody is called Kuru dynasty. From Kuru, that line, Pratipa is born. Okay, so Pratipa was the king of Hastinapura, and he was again he was doing penance on river Ganga, on bank of river Ganga. Okay, one day when he was doing that penance and sitting like this in yogic posture, Ganga comes, assumes form of a beautiful girl. Okay, she comes and sits on his right thigh. Okay, and then she says, okay, I want to marry you. Okay, I want to become you please take me. Okay, that's what she says. And then Pratipa says, I don't know who you are, and I am vow bound. I can't marry just like anybody, so I can't marry you. And then she explains that I am from Devaloka, I'm from celestial. Okay, I have taken birth on earth, so I am auspicious. You don't have to worry about that. So you can take me. And then Pratipa says one important thing. He says that I cannot marry you because you sat on my right thigh. Okay, so right thighs are deserved, men's right thighs are deserved for daughters and daughter-in-laws. Okay, left thigh is deserved for wives. Okay, so wife sits on the left thigh, right thigh, daughters, daughter-in-law, all of them sit. And Pratipa says that because you sat on my right thigh, I can't take you are like my daughter or daughter-in-law. So I can't take you as my wife, but what I can do is I will ask my son to marry you. Okay. So I will take you as my daughter-in-law. So he promises that, and Ganga agrees to that. And Ganga also says that I'm okay with this. I'm happy to marry your son, but I have some conditions. He has to accept my conditions. And Pratipa says, it's okay. Okay. And then after some time, Pratipa and Ganga disappears from there. After some time, Pratipa gets a son. Pratipa gets a son who is actually Mahabhisha. Mahabhisha is the one who cursed Brahma's assembly, right, for looking at Ganga. Okay. And he was named as Shantanu. Okay. The king Shantanu was born a son of Mahabhisha. Okay. Shantanu again became, as he grew, he became knowledgeable. He learned all the shastras, weaponry, everything. Okay. And then one day, Pratipa calls him and tells him that some time ago, one celestial maiden came to me for your good, and she said that she will marry you. Okay. And when she comes to you, don't hesitate, don't ask any questions. Even if she puts some conditions, say it's okay, accept her and marry her. This is my command. That's what he says. Okay. And Shantanu says, okay. He agrees to that. And then, and after that, Pratipa goes to forest. Okay. He goes to forest. He relinquishes his kingdom. He makes Shantanu the king. And then he goes to forest. One day, Shantanu was on a hunting trip. He was taking break, and near river Ganga, there he sees a beautiful woman, lady, okay, girl. So he sees her, and then attracted by her, he says, who are you? Are you any Gandharvas, Apsaras, Yakshas, Nagas? Which origin is yours? You look like a deity. You look like a goddess. Who are you? And I wish to marry you. That's what he says. Okay. Ganga says, okay. So Ganga, on hearing that, she says that she is okay to marry him, but she has certain conditions. Okay. She says that I will marry you. Okay. She says that I will marry you. So I will marry you on the condition that you should never stop me from doing something. Okay. You should never stop me from doing something. You should never get angry with me. Okay. You should never, if you do anything like that, then that day I will leave you. Till that time, I will be your wife. Okay. She makes that condition. Imagine somebody saying, I will marry you, but I will leave you the moment you get angry with me. Okay. Ganga makes such a condition. And because Shantanu had this early warning from his father Pratipa, he agrees to that. He also thinks that she is of a highborn, she is of a good, looks like a celestial, she looks like a goddess born on earth. She is not going to do anything wrong. Okay, so because of that, Shantanu agrees that he will marry her. And Ganga explains that she is the Ganga, river Ganga, born on earth. Okay, and she will marry. She is and then they marry. Okay, and after some time, so she marries. Both of them marry, and after some time, spending time happily, after some time, they have children. Okay, they have one after another children. They have total 8 children, and after each childbirth, Ganga took the child and dropped it in the river Ganga. Okay, she dropped in the river Ganga. One after another, she dropped like that. 7 children she dropped in the river. Shantanu was very, very sad, but he did not ask her, stop her, because he remembered the promise he made to her that he will not challenge anything she does. Okay, he did not ask her. But when the 8th child was born, she was about to drop. Shantanu says, stop. Okay, Shantanu says, stop, don't do it. Okay, why are you doing this? No mother will ever kill her children, but you are dropping all of your children in the river, saying that this is for your good, I'm dropping you in there. And children disappear once you drop in the water. Why are you doing this? Who are you? Tell me all these things. Okay. Then Ganga explains that she is indeed goddess river Ganga. She took birth on earth because of a curse, and she is all the 7 children who died are relieved from their curse. They are 7 Vasus. The 8th one surviving is also going to be is the Vasu as well, but he has energy of the other 7, and I am going to name him Ganga Datta. Okay, and then she asks his permission to leave because he quite challenged her. She asks his permission to leave, and then Ganga takes her son and then about to leave. Okay, at that time, Shantanu asks again, you said 8 Vasus were cursed. Okay, tell me more about that. Why were they cursed? What is the story? What happened? Why were they cursed? Okay, so Ganga then explains the story of the Vasus. So Vasu, there were 8 Vasus, as I said. So Vasishtha, the Rishi Vasishtha, because for his sacrifices and everything, he obtained Nandini, the cow Nandini, he obtained from Brahma. Okay, so Nandini is the daughter of Surabhi. Surabhi is the mother of all cows, and Surabhi, one of the daughter of Daksha Prajapati, and she married Kashyapa, and through them, Nandini was born. Okay, and Nandini was given to Vasishtha, Rishi Vasishtha, for his homa and other things, for milk and ghee and everything. She was given. Nandini was at Vasishtha's money. And Nandini was worshipped and looked after by Vasishtha, and she was at Vasishtha's ashrama happily. Okay, she was roaming fearlessly everywhere. One day, what happened was the Vasus were in the same place. They were in that forest, and Vasus, again, Prithu is the lead Vasishtha, lead Vasu, and they come across this cow, Nandini, and they look at this cow and then think this cow looks very auspicious. Okay, it again, I don't know, you probably, you children don't know. Okay, in the villages in India, people used to look at cows and say whether that's a good cow or not a good cow. Okay, just by looking at cow, they can tell how much milk it gives and what type of milk it gives. For example, some cows, I'm going to tell you a story from my childhood, not from Mahabharata. So when you look at the cows, if there is lot of skin hanging around its throat and the back shape, tail, its horn, face, everything, looking at that, people can tell how much milk it gives, and looking at its skin and hair, everything, you can tell what type of milk it gives. Some cows' milk have a lot of fat in it. It gives a lot of butter. 1 liter milk gives you a lot of this much butter. Another cow's 1 liter milk will give you only little butter. Okay, the fat content in the cows also varies. So you can look at that and tell. So here also, Vasus look at this Nandini cow, and they say that this cow has got all the auspicious signs. Okay, this cow must be very special cow. And one of the Vasu's wife, okay, Dyu, Vasu's name was Dyu, his wife, she asks her husband, Dew, can you tell me more about this cow? Okay. And Dew explains that this cow is Nandini, is a celestial cow. She gives milk. If anyone drinks that milk, they will stay young for 10,000 years. Okay. They will stay, they will have that much energy and youthfulness for 10,000 years. Okay. On hearing that, Dew's wife thinks about her friend on earth. Okay. She had a friend called Jitavati on earth. She thinks about that. My friend wanted to stay young. She's using all the cosmetics and everything on her face. If I give this cow to her, she will drink milk every day and she will stay young. Okay. So she thinks about that and she asks Dew, can we take this cow? Please give me this cow. Okay. And Dew did not want to disappoint his wife. Okay. And he, with his brothers, okay, other 7 Vasus, they take the cow and they take away Nandini. Okay. So Vasishtha comes to his ashrama. He does not see Nandini anywhere. And then he uses his yogic power and he sees that Vasus captured Nandini. Immediately, he curses the Vasus that they will take birth on earth. Now, in this story today, I said a lot of people getting birth on earth. Why is that such a bad thing? Yeah, Tulsi.
That's because you have to live your life again, and some people's lives include a lot of pain and stuff like that.
Yeah. So getting birth on earth is, again, there is 2 parts. Okay. One is it's considered good. Okay. Because you can do your actions, and through your actions and following the dharma, you can attain heaven and even moksha. Okay. Paramatma you can attain. That's good. But at the same time, once you are in heaven, coming back to earth is not a good place. Okay. It is like going step backwards. Okay. To miserable place. So you have to live through all the pain and suffering. That's why coming back to earth is not considered. Once you are in heaven, it's not a good thing. Okay, so here also Vasishtha curses them. And once that curse is pronounced, Vasus realize about that and they come and ask for his forgiveness, Vasishtha's forgiveness, and they ask for a way out of that curse. Vasishtha says that once a Brahmana says something, it will never go away. Okay, so you have to live that life. You have to take birth on earth. But 7 of you who just assisted in stealing a cow, you will take birth on earth, but you can be relieved within a year. Okay, as soon as the longest you are going to survive, probably a year, but you don't even have to live that much. You can be relieved of your birth as quickly as possible if you find a way out. But the 8th one, Dew, who actually stole this cow, he has to live on earth and he has to suffer. He will suffer, and because he did all this, because of his wife, he will live a life on earth without any woman in his life. He will never get married. Okay. So he will be, but he will be obedient. He will be obedient to his father. He will be knowledgeable. He will have all the virtuous, and he will be, his conduct, everything will be good, but he will be without his wife. And he also curses his wife, that Vasishtha also curses his wife, that she will take on birth on earth and she will never get married as well. Okay, she will never get married. So Ganga narrates all these stories to Shantanu, saying that how Vasus got the curse, and she explains that Vasus requested her to drop the 7 of them in river so they can be relieved of their curse. And then, so that's what I did. 7 of them took birth. I relieved of them of this birth. But the 8th one, surviving Vasu, is the form of Dew, and I am taking him with me now, but I will bring him back at the right time. Okay. And with that, Ganga takes her son Gangadatta, Gangadatta, he is also called Devavrata. Okay, Devavrata. She takes him and then leaves Shantanu alone in Hastinapura. Ganga leaves that place. Okay, I think that's sufficient for today. So we heard about Mahabhisha getting cursed and Ganga getting cursed and Vasus getting cursed, all taking birth on earth. Mahabhisha was born on earth as Pratipa, King Pratipa's son, and Ganga taking birth as a girl on earth and marrying Shantanu. And then through Shantanu and Ganga, Vasus were born. 7 of them were dropped in water and returned to heaven immediately. 8th one survives, right? 8th one survives and he goes with Ganga. Ganga takes him away from Shantanu, saying that I will bring him back at later, okay, later some point in time. Any questions on today's stories? Anyone? Okay, last week, I think Aditya, you asked a question about cows, why cows are sacred. I don't know whether your mom told you. I posted a response in that. So today's story, we also heard about Nandini Surabhi, right? The cow's mother cow Surabhi. Okay, the story why cows are sacred links to Surabhi. Okay, when Daksha Prajapati, who is the creator of all the creatures. Okay, Daksha Prajapati is Praja means humans and all the other animals, all the creatures. Pati is the Lord. Okay, he is the creator. When he created all those, all creatures were hungry. They were looking for food. Okay, and Daksha Prajapati thought about that and he drank Amrita, and from that Amrita he got a burp. Okay, from that burp smell, okay, Nandini was born. Sorry, Surabhi was born. Okay, Surabhi is the mother of cows. And in our scriptures again, cows, it's that Surabhi started feeding everybody through her milk, and her children with her milk she started feeding everybody. Okay, cow's milk is sacred, and our shastra says that cow's milk is the energy. It's like drinking amrita. Okay, nectar itself. So amrita itself, cow's milk, and ghee is the food of all the devas. Okay, deity's food is ghee. That's why in homas we pour ghee. And cows again, stealing, hurting cows, doing any impure things to cows, okay, or killing, eating, or anything like that, even selling cows is forbidden. Okay, we should not do, we should worship. And our Puranas, for example, and Dharma Shastras all say that in cows, all the deities reside. Okay, you might have seen cows with pictures drawn in the head. There are different deities, horn, there are different deities, body, all over the body is different devas and devis, everything is there, right? So that's all described in our Puranas, different parts. And Mahabharata, when we reach towards the end in Anushasana Parva, again it explains that Lakshmi, Shri, she asked Surabhi to take residence, her residence in cows. Okay, she said, I will reside in you. So anyone who worships cow and protects cow and looks after cows, they will be blessed by Lakshmi as well. So Shastras, our Puranas, Vedas, everything, we know even in Vedas, it's quoted that cows are sacred and they should be worshipped and protected. Okay. I don't know, Aditya, whether that explains. You had a question today?
I have a question.
Yeah.
So, who created all the gods?
So gods, there are different types. Okay, so different types. If we go back, so the start is let's say depends. Okay, so if you look at Vishnu, okay, if you are looking from a Vishnu related Puranas and things, it will says Narayana. Okay, from Narayana, Brahma came, and then all these, say, for example, Rudra, Shiva was born here. Okay, Yama and other dharmas are born here through Brahma and others. And then Adityas, for example, I said previously, from Aditi, Kashyapa, Adityas are born. So here, Vivasvata, that Surya, Vishnu in Vamana Rupa, he was born. Shakra, who is the Indra, was born through Kashyapa. Okay. So
but who gave birth to Narayana?
Narayana is birthless. He is the Paramatma. He is the birthless. He does not have a birth. He does not have a death. He is the Paramatma. Everything starts from him. Everything goes back to him. So all these creatures, creation, everything at the end of the pralaya, where what we call dissolution or pralaya, when that happens, all this goes back to Narayana. Okay, Narayana, or if you look at Shiva Puranas or Shiva related Vedas and things, it's called Shambhu. Okay, Mahadeva. Okay, whether you call Narayana or Mahadeva or whatever it is, the creation, the Paramatma. Okay, so Narayana, Shambhu, all these are same. So we just look at different forms. Okay, so all this goes back to him, and then it comes back again as his Atmas. All the Atmas, all the souls are part of Narayana. Every creature, whether it is deities or whether it is humans or the trees or the rivers or mountains or earth or whatever, everything is part of Narayana. And it comes from him, it goes back to him. Okay. Pranil.
You said that everything started from Narayana and he is birthless.
Yeah.
But if he is birthless, then did he create himself?
Yes, Narayana is not create himself. So Narayana is beyond creation. He does not have birth or death or anything. Okay, Narayana is the creator. So he is the start, he is the end. Okay, so there is no end to himself and there is no start to him. He is the Paramatma. So everything starts from him. So entire universe, entire things that's in the universe starts from all the words. That's what Shastras say. So he is the ultimate God, let's say. Okay, he is the only God. Paramatma, that's why we call Paramatma, Parama, Atma. So everyone, all of us got Atma. Whatever we have Atma, soul in us is called Jivatma. And he is the Paramatma, he is the ultimate Atma. So all the Jivatma will go in to Paramatma at the end of the world.
Okay, so that means when the entire universe created, there was just one thing.
There was only Narayana. So when the creation started, Narayana was the only one. Okay, from his navel region, a lotus came, through that Brahma came, and then Brahma started creation.
So Narayana was the first thing, but Brahma created all of the other things. So
Yeah.
Narayana just created Brahma, and then Brahma did all the other things that was needed.
Yeah. So Brahma is given the task of creation, the rest of the creation. Maybe we'll continue next week. We might get disconnected. Okay. We'll continue this discussion next week if that's okay. I know Akila, you had a hand raised. Remember what you wanted to ask.